Welcome again, my friends. So after the creating of our React app, now it's time to set up other things. So one of them is going to be for styling, which we're going to use Tailwind CSS, which I like a lot. If you know what you're doing, if you know how you organize your code, it's a lifesaver rather than that type in all of that CSS. Some people think it's messy, but with me, when you work with it, when you know how to organize things, it's going to be one of the best experiences that you have done. And let me explain. So first of all, let's start with the setup. So if you go to Tailwind CSS website, they will show you how to actually install it with a React app. So the first thing they will tell you is to install it as a div dependency, like in your application. So let's do that. So I'm going to open my application. You see, this is what we were talking about. So right here, this is our objective, is to install Tailwind CSS and then explain it a little bit and then explain a few concepts that we will need. So let me open my terminal like this, and I will go. This is in the front-end folder. I will go yarn, then -d, okay, like that for development, or dev like this, one of them, whatever you prefer. So we're gonna install it as a development dependency, because when you build your application and host it, it's gonna be pure CSS, okay? But when we development, we're gonna write it with Tailwind CSS. So, and then this one, yarn, sorry, I forgot to add right here. And then this one is going to be Tailwind CSS like that. And then we will click enter and we will wait till it installs. The second part that we have to do is to use npx Tailwind CSS init. We're simply going to create a configuration file for us. So let's copy that. Let me go back right here. And I have to actually wait till this installs before continuing with this. So it is done. Now let me pause the second command and I will click enter and wait a little bit, and you will see right here on the left side, one file will just pop up in a second. So let's just give it a few seconds. All right, let's wait, and you see right here we got a tailwind.config.gss file. So let me close the terminal now as we are done. And we have this configuration file right here. If you go back, it will tell you that there it says the Tailwind config file for you. You can actually just click copy right here, and you will go back here and just remove everything here and replace it. So this is simply, we just tell in Tailwind CSS which files that you have to actually compile for the Tailwind CSS. So simply all the files that exist inside the source folder and any folder inside it, and then any file there with the extension of JavaScript or a JSX or TypeScript or a TSX file. Okay, you can also do, many, as you can define like source, then / like components, like you exactly define the folders, and then like pages. So this is up to you, but we're gonna just allow it for all folders right here and all files inside it. Main thing is gonna be in the source directory. And then let's go back. They will tell us that we have to take all of this and add it to the index.css. So I'm going to click copy, and I'm going to take that, go back to my source, then the index.css, and paste that here. So now I do have the configuration. As you can see here, there is nothing that we have to do. So yeah, let's go back. And now I'm just going to open my terminal. Let me clear this, go back to my running application. Let's see if it's working or we need to restart the server. Sometimes it does, sometimes we need to refresh. So I have this welcome to the front end. If I went back now, let me close everything to the right here, and let me go back to my app.js. So this will come to front end. Let's add, for this h1, let's add a class name. And this class name, we need to change, for example, the text color for this h1 to red. That means I can go just simply text, and then I can go red, and then you will see I get all the options. So this types of colors that's predefined. For example, I'm choosing 500. If I save right here and go back to my browser, so even if I refresh right here, let me see. If it didn't, we have to actually restart the server. Sometimes this is how it works for the configuration to apply. So it's still compiling. Let's give it a few seconds to compile, and when it's compiled, we'll see if it works. If not, we'll restart the server, no problem. Sometimes, I don't know, I think it's just a problem with my, PC. It's a little bit slow right now. Okay, so it is done, and you can go, yeah, it's nothing there. Okay, so I need to close my application and then start it again. As you can see, we got an error warning because we have this import that we didn't use. Let me remove that for now. And let's wait till my development server is starting. So now it started. Just give it just a few seconds and it's gonna be right with us. Okay, it is done, and you can see now that we have the text right here with red. So it is a very useful, addition to Tailwind CSS. It allows us to do a lot of stuff. I can go, for example, and I make the font bold. I can go font bold. Don't worry, while we work on this, even if you had no experience with Tailwind CSS, you will like it, and I will show you how it works. So font bold, that means it's plain English. We're just making the font bolder. Okay, as you can see, it has been done. Example, you want it to be thin, something, you'll go back and you will see it. You can also change the background, and then let's say yellow, and then maybe 300, save, go back, and it's here. It is actually very simple. This is the most basic example I can come up with. I can take this H1 right and remove it for now, and I can get an icon. So one of the icons that I have, I don't exactly remember what I have, so let me just pick an icon. Let me choose this one, which is document icon. So document, sorry, I don't know what's happening on my keyboard. Document icon. Okay, I don't get it, but I can actually import that. As I told you, it's very simple. Just go import partially from the SVG folder. That's it. And I have this document icon. If I went back, you see it's right here. It has a different color, so that's why we can't really see it. So if I went now and I want to change that color, I can I pass the class name right here. Sorry, class name, and we'll see, for example, fill, and then let's use the, for example, blue, and then maybe blue 600, and save. And if I went back, so it didn't change, maybe because this icon, let me open this icon and see if we had a class name. Okay, this one we didn't use a class name. Okay, so yeah, this was the reason. But if we choose an icon that we added then a class name, we can change that. So let me pick an icon that we have that for it. It's very important to understand this. So let's see, for example, okay, we pass in the icon, right, the class name right here. So let me choose that, and then let me import that. Okay, let me remove this class name. Okay, and let me go back now and see. Okay, so this is the core icon. It is black. So if I went and added back my class name to be blue, if I went back, now it is blue, because if you go back to the core icon, we added this class name, and in this path we added the class name. As it's an SVG, you can fill it, stroke it, depending on what color you want to add and type of who you want to do it. So we decided to fill it, okay, and we use this class name that we pass. And what is the color that we filled this with was fill blue 600. Okay, this is, you can change it, for example, to red, and now you can see how easy to color your icons this way. It's a beautiful mix with passing some properties, okay, to that component, and we will use that mixed with Tailwind CSS. It makes the best combo. So I like this a lot. Now let's talk about another important concept, which is variables in Tailwind CSS. If you go back to your tailwind.config.js file, we have this same object. Inside this we have extend. So let's say we can extend few variables. So I can go to my colors right here, and I can extend something on it. So for example, I can define a new color. Let's, for example, call this red. Okay, and this color simply just gonna give us red. Okay, this is the class name. And if I went back, or I can call it something like red 1, for example, just to test it, and I can go back, and you can see there is no coloring right here. If I went and added a class name here, I can go, for example, text, to change the text color, and I can go red underscore, and if you look for it, you will find it, and you click Control and space to get the compilation. So I can choose that, and if I went back, it does actually work. So we can define our own colors right here. So this is kind of a cool thing. So in our application, we're gonna have we have the light version, you know that, and we have a dark version. So I have if I want to name my variables, I name them this way. So let me explain how I do this. So for example, I have a background color. Let's say this is PG, okay? And this color is something like, I don't know, this is FFF. This is the normal color in my light mode. But if in the dark mode, I want to define the color that's going to be for the dark mode, I mainly just go dark, then underscore PG, okay? Or PG dark, whatever. And this one is going to be, for example, 000. This is the background. And this is a cool way of naming your variables. So you know when you are in the light mode, you will use PG, and when you are dark, you use this. Okay, this doesn't make it automatically. If you went and added dark PG, it's gonna now change it. but like this is the way you name your variables. This is for light mode, for example, and this is for dark mode. There is nothing like a global way to how to use it, so you can define it your way. Some people even go PG and then add primary like this, and then they go dark, and then they will do the same thing, dark, PG, primary. For example, this is just a way of naming your variables, and then you set a value to it. So I have my variables right here that I'm gonna have. Simply, I'm gonna start with the dark mode. That's why, because in my application, when I finished it, I only work on the dark mode. So that's why you all see the variable starts with dark, and we have some green colors, blue and stuff. So for example, when I want to add later the light mode, I will just define this variable as PG1, and this is going to be for my light mode. Okay, and now for example, I want to use this dark, background. I can just go and use, for example, the PG to change the background and with this color. So if I went back, I will see it there. So now let me show you how to switch between light mode and dark mode in Tailwind CSS. It's a very simple thing. You just go to your Tailwind, config, and then in theme right here, you go and search for dark mode. Sorry, dark mode. Can I get that? Actually, is it in the? Let me choose. Oh, I think it's here. So yeah, it's here. So dark mode. I will define the way to do it with media or class. I just use it with class, and I'm gonna explain why. So now we enable dark mode by class names. So now if I went back to my app, I can actually go right here and do something. So in the normal, the background is going to be white. Okay, so now if I went back, nothing changed because it's white. But I want in the dark mode to be black. How I'm going to do that? You go and when it's dark mode, you actually now can change the PG, for example, to black like this. Or you can even use your custom hex value like this, for example, or 000, whatever you want to use. Okay. And now if I went back, okay, there is nothing changed. Why is that? Because simply you have to go to the parent div and then you add a class name to it, and that class name is dark. So now when you have that parent as dark, now it's gonna change everything and says it that now we are in the dark mode. So simply now if I want to switch between dark mode and light mode, I just add this class name dark and it will change it for me. Now I add it back, it is dark mode. I can go, for example, to the 6 inside, and I go inside this, and this is maybe just a normal paragraph, for example, and this one has the 6. I can go to the class name. So normally, like the text is black, okay? Normally, this is by default. But when in dark mode, I can actually decide that the text now is going to be white. So now, as we are in the dark mode, what the text color is going to be because we are in dark, we have white, so it's going to be white. So now it's going to be white. So this is a simple thing to explain how to switch between dark mode and light mode. So now if I am, for example, I am using my dark PG one. Okay, for example, this is like my normal PG because I'm starting by default as dark. Sorry, not like this. I can just go, my PG is like PG1, and then when dark, I'm gonna change it to PG like this. That's why when you see me coding, I'm actually not gonna do it this way. Okay, I'm just gonna simply, whenever I want to add my background, I'm gonna have this default dark in the beginning because I'm starting from dark mode and not light mode. I know this might sound confusing right now, but when we work on it, I will add it. I'm not gonna start from light mode because I might not even add it, and I will let you add it. So like I may add it later. So that's why I prefer the dark mode by default. Okay, this is my way of doing it. And I feel like it is a good way to start. So for example, in the dark, this is the background that is gonna be, and you can see it there. And then later, when I work on the dark mode, all I have to do is just to go in the light mode. I just have to go right here and say, for example, my BG is gonna be something, I don't know, like EEE. And if I want to switch to light mode, I can just remove this dark, and now I am in light mode. I know this might sound confusing. It's not the right way you may say to do it, but I will do it, and I will show you everything later so you can understand this more. This is another concept between switching light and dark mode. Even I may get criticism, why didn't you start with light mode? Because I started with dark. I didn't want to even do the light version, so I might not even do it. Okay, I don't even know, because I feel like the dark version is actually enough and is better than the light mode. Okay, it's not worth it to do the light version anyway, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So another concept I want to explain about Tailwind CSS, if you go back to your index right here, you can define some custom class names. What I mean by that, I can go at, and then I can go layer, not layer, and then I'm going to go to components, and then inside of it, I can do some class names. So I can go and add a class name. For example, we're gonna call this my custom h1, for example, and inside of it, all what I have to do is apply some styling from tailwind CSS, which is like, for example, text blue 500, and then maybe bg red 200. And you can actually take this custom class name, and then we go to this app, remove all of this right here, all this stuff. Let me remove all these class names. Okay, so we go back to normal. So if I went back, this is what I have. And if I actually want to add the custom class name, I can just go there and add it, custom h1. And if I go back now, you see we applied the blue color and also the red background. So it is a very simple thing. I know you may be a little bit confused about the dark and light mode maybe, but everything is gonna make sense, and when working it, you will like this. So you never have to worry. So by default, as I told you on our application, I'm just gonna go to my index right here. And in this app right here, you can do it here or maybe in the app itself. Maybe we'll do it in this app. I'm gonna remove everything. So by default, my default application is gonna have dark in the beginning because I'm gonna start by dark mode. This is really what I want you to understand now, and we will work on dark mode first. So this is it for tailwind CSS. I feel like I've explained this well, I hope. If you didn't understand something as we keep working on this application, you will understand more how we did all of this. So now we have to push to GitHub so you can commit the files. So I'm gonna add all of them. Sorry, let me zoom out a bit so I can see clearly. So we installed tailwind CSS. So let me add the new one. So everything is added. I'm gonna call this add in tailwind CSS, and I'm gonna just simply commit, and then you can seek changes to push. Okay, so the action will pull and push commit from and to origin main. Okay, that's what I want to go. So to main. So okay, so it's gotta go to the main, and now it's pushing. Let's wait a little bit, and actually it will work. So now, for example, if I went back right here, I have a new commit here, which is this one for adding tailwind CSS. So everything is working. Okay,